Hey everyone, it's Argonath here from Return of the Fan, and another article about the Halo TV show. This one's on Bounty into Comics by Slade Hale, so thanks very much for writing the article so that we can comment on it. Another TV show ruined by identity politics and bad writing, just like every woke TV show that's going around these days, and you can bet your bottom dollar that the new Lord of the Rings Amazon TV show is going to be just as full of identity politics and just as full of bad writing, because that's all these left-wing writers and producers, it's all they know, is to shove identity politics in there and destroy the franchise because they want to get back at the real fans of these particular shows. So let's have a look at what Slade is saying. The first episode of Paramount's television adaptation of Halo just touched down, and the problems are more prolific than anyone could have possibly imagined. We can imagine a lot. For casual sci-fi fans, this might cut it barely, but for long-time fans of the video game franchise, it's an abomination featuring all the usual suspects that ruin modern adaptations. Now that's the thing with these woke shows, is that who are you aiming at? I mean, you're not aiming it for the fans, so you don't want the fans to watch the TV show. Do you want the normies to watch it? Well, they're not going to watch Halo because they probably don't even know about the games, and they're not interested in games like that. So maybe you might get a couple of people that are interested in sci-fi, but certainly the fans, which is the biggest market, are not going to come and watch it if it doesn't match what was in the games, is it? Contact, I assume that's the name of the first episode, begins with a sprawling reveal of an insurrectionist camp on the planet Madrigal, where Covenant forces are busy excavating a dig site in search of ancient technology, which appears to be Forerunner. Their forces launch a brutal and bloody assault on the nearby outpost, which introduces the audience to the character Quan Ha, who ends up as the only survivor. Of course, it's the only person to survive, so this character is going to be a big character in the show. Admittedly, the action sequence is superb, pulling no punches while mixing excellent pacing with sweeping camera angles, excellent sonic cues, and a ton of excitement. Watching Shinhali Elite slaughter humans is a pretty cool experience, albeit disturbing. Children's limbs are blown off and adults die in a variety of horrible deaths, all without feeling overly exploitative. So it sounded like a pretty good opening to the first episode, but what happens later? Things really heat up when the Master Chief arrives on the scene with his Silver Team Spartans in tow. The tide turns immediately, showcasing the Spartans doing what they do best, putting down all opposition. Master Chief, for his part, is rendered incredibly accurate and true to form, right down to the helmet's visor. So that's the thing, right? You take the likeness completely from the game, but then you don't base the TV show on anything that's in the game. And then you don't pander, or you don't make it for the fans. Right? Pander to the fans, then you'll get an audience come and see it. It's easily the highlight of the episode, swapping cleverly back and forth between third and first person perspectives in homage to the games, and it's done with far more class and sincerity than the first person sequence at the end of 2005's Doom film adaptation. Seeing it all from Master Chief's perspective is just icing on the cake. And then he speaks, and his voice sounds identical to Din Djarin from The Mandalorian, as if that character leaped into Halo universe and slapped on a new suit of armor. Seriously, it is that noticeable. That's the thing with these idiots producing the TV show. Get the guy who voiced the character in the game. How hard is that? I mean, for God's sake, even I know that that would be a really good idea, and I'm nowhere near a producer for TV shows and stuff. In fact, as the episode presses on, it's almost impossible to distinguish between the two characters. It's almost as if Paramount studied every single Mandalorian episode and then tried to model their Master Chief on an identical note-for-note formula. It wouldn't surprise me because they're not creative. All of these left-wing idiots that are in Hollywood and doing TV shows and stuff. The first sign that trouble is brewing, rather than simply bringing back longtime Master Chief voice actor Steve Downes, oh, there we go. Yeah, should have brought that guy back in the title role, which would have been a stroke of genius, of course. But no, they can't do that. The showrunners opted to cast the Wire actor Pablo Schreiber. Well, with a name like Pablo, you can ensure that he's a minority actor, and of course he would get the main cast role, right? For reasons that would become apparent near the end of the episode. When the dust settles, audiences are treated to a typical opening credit sequence that steals its visual cues from a variety of modern shows, particularly Westworld, yet fails to properly utilise Marty O'Donnell's iconic musical theme as the main linchpin to build a bridge between the gaming franchise and the TV show. To be fair, the visual quality of the various sets and space shots is top notch. Fans even get a glimpse of the High Charity and one of the prophets who speaks the Covenant language with appropriate subtitles layered over top. Then the whole reveal goes out of whack when the character Makee is introduced. Makee is a human female, of course. Has to be a human female, obviously, who is apparently spared by the Covenant forces, raised as one of their own. 343 Industries development director Frank O'Connor hinted in the past audiences will learn why she was spared within minutes of the character appearing on screen. That was a lie, but it's obviously going to play out in future episodes. By introducing a human into the Covenant ranks, it cheapens the entire experience. The Covenant do not need a human avatar standing in to serve as an expositor of information on behalf of the audience. It reeks of cowardice and lack of confidence in the characters already established throughout the franchise. This is the thing with all these bad writers. All they can do is give a whole bunch of exposition rather than letting the story flow through the actions of the characters and what situations they get into, how they get out of it. Let actions actually tell the story as well. But no, they have to just give tons and tons of exposition. Then things really go off the rails. Early teaser content is essentially confirmed that the Halo TV will be loaded with the typical brand of far left identity politics, and here they are all over again to stir up trouble and alienate fans. It's bizarre to watch the mismatched and altogether politically driven casting decisions, which many of them are a literal spit in the face of long-time fans. Of course, because that's all they know. The left push for racial equity has manifested itself in Halo by having people of colour outnumber white characters by a factor of about 10 to 1. Normally this wouldn't be much of an issue if the characters in question were written from the onset and come from a particular racial demographic. But no, it makes no sense. They're just black or non-white for no particular reason. And yet race swapping has been brought straight to the forefront with characters like Captain Jacob Keyes. It's worth mentioning that Danny Spani is a great actor with a lot of presence and charisma, but the fact that he was hired to race swap the character of Keyes is blatant, overt, and obvious. I mean, yeah, of course that's what they want to do, right? They want to get rid of all white male characters. So what we need to do is just stop watching their crap, right? So then they have to cancel the rubbish or lose money on it. His daughter Miranda is played by Olive Gray, who was woefully miscast in the role. Halo fans know full well how great Miranda was as a character, but it's impossible to see Gray living up to her as the show goes by. She questions authority at every turn. She behaves like a juvenile millennial, and she lacks anything resembling confidence. Oh my god! You'd think that by the time the year when this is taking place, we would have got over that sort of rubbish. The goal, of course, was to sell the idea of an interracial relationship between Jacob Keyes and Catherine Halsey, the architect of the Spartan 2 program. Yes, they did conceive Miranda together in the video game timeline, but the TV show required the obligatory interracial relationship checkbox to be ticked. So here we are. Yep, you got to tick all of those woke left-wing boxes to make your TV shows these days. Sorry to all you Halo fans out there, but Paramount doesn't care what you think. The same overt racists who feel it necessary to race swap exclusively in one direction are the same hypocrites who will accuse you of racism if you take notice. Would you like to see Sergeant Avery Johnson race swapped with a white actor? Neither would we, right? If they were non-white in the game, they should be non-white in the TV show. Same with if they were white in the game, they should be white in the TV show. The episode also gives off the obligatory female-centric vibe that will undoubtedly get worse over time. Kwan Ha berates and chastises the Master. What the F? She is nothing, and she's chastising the Master Chief? What has she done to chastise the Master Chief? That's absolutely ridiculous. While Admiral Margaret Parangoski struts about trying to sell the notion that she's a powerful leader, unfortunately, actress Shabana Azmi looks downright miscast and awkward, like she has no idea what she's doing. While she comes from Bollywood, so probably no surprise there. Once again, all the females need to be in positions of power, while all the men need to be subordinates. On the racial side, all non-white actors must be performing the operation, must be running the operation, while all white characters must lower their eyes and know their place. Yep, that's all it is. Stop watching this crap. Don't give them any views. This is especially ironic given the last scene of an episode where hundreds of UNSC soldiers converge on a dropship containing the Master Chief. The overwhelming majority are white, almost to suggest that they're only useful as foot soldier cannon fodder on the front lines. Yep, that's all they think of white people. These racists who make up these TV shows, that's all they think about. Did we read too much into that? No, I don't think so. Somehow we doubt it, because we're actually aware of how racist the left are towards Caucasians or other denominations like Jews, Hispanics, and Asians who are now deemed white adjacent in leftist circles. They're not black enough to be counted as victims and they don't have any victimhood. So they're kind of in an in-between place, which is really sad. It's no secret that many of the people involved in the creation of the TV show never played a single Halo game in their entire lives, which is bound to cause problems because they're stupid idiots and all they think about is their ideology. They just want to destroy franchises. Nobody really looks or feels as if they understand the universe they're representing, and that goes double, nay triple, for the Master Chief himself. In short, it's a disaster. The Master Chief in the Halo video games was confident to a fault, even when he failed. Here he looks puzzled, uncertain, and out of his depth. It's so bad that he even cracks a joke in the latter half of the episode, then literally says that was a joke. The Master Chief does not joke ever. Right. And finally, the episode really hits rock bottom the moment the Chief takes off his helmet in order to reveal Pablo Schreiber's face. This was a fatal and suicidal mistake, and it's astonishing to see it happen in the first debut episode. Like the Mandalorian, the lead character's mask persona is what sells him, revealing the face. I mean, look at this guy. Is this guy supposed to be the face of the Master Chief? I would never have picked a face like that to be the face of Master Chief. I mean, he's only picked because he's a diversity hire, right? And it just doesn't look the same. For instance, had the Mandalorian waited until the final episode of Season 2 to show the first big reveal, it would have worked. However, Din Djarin's face was shown several times prior to that episode, which ended up robbing the character of this mystery. Here, Halo goes for broke right out of the gate to its own detriment. In fact, it's a signal that the showrunners lack confidence. Of course they lack confidence in Master Chief's iconic pop culture status, and they felt they needed to show his face for fans to connect to. This is what happens when creatives in charge of a decades-long franchise never bother to do their homework. But look at Darth Vader. They only took his helmet off right at the end of Return of the Jedi, right? All of that other time he had his helmet on always, and did we ever not connect with Darth Vader? Even though he was evil, we certainly connected with him, right? It's just ridiculous. It can be seen in every single frame of the episode. Battles are shot beautifully. The entire aesthetic look for the show is flat out phenomenal, and yet it nails all the architecture, weapons, and creature designs of Halo with uncanny accuracy. Yet for all its visual splendor, the modern trappings of bad storytelling seep in and cause the foundation to rot. If the first episode is anything to go by, Halo is a bad show and should probably be kept at bay with a very long stick. When a series manages to botch so much in the debut episode, it really recovers. Pilot episodes are designed to attract viewers, whet their appetite, keep them coming back. Halo does the precise opposite. It seems that once hot Halo fans begun falling into a rut that it can't escape from. The recent release of Halo Infinite didn't exactly light the gaming world on fire, despite some much beloved gameplay improvements, but underneath the glossy exterior was a rusty narrative. Same with the show. Exactly. Halo is an aggravating show to watch. Well, that's not good if you're watching a show, because the right elements and ingredients are there on the table, just waiting to cook up something delicious, yet an overabundance of identity politics seasoning is combined with the showrunners failing to read the recipe instructions properly, then burning the entire dish to a cinder. When the wrong priorities take the top spots on modern production, fans tune out. In an ironic twist of fate, critics have been savaging Halo with a 58% score versus a 72% audience score, which is absolutely underwhelming in every conceivable regard. So normally the critics are really quick to give their support to woke TV shows, but I think they're starting to see that it's having an effect on their viewership. Paramount has been championing the wrong causes for too long, most notably with the bastardized fan fiction that is modern Star Trek. Exactly agree with that as well. But Halo was a chance to test out a completely different model. Instead, they doubled down, went woke, let the story go to hell, and created another very expensive digital paperweight. Exactly. I need a weapon to kill this show before it spreads like the flood. Well, awesome. Let's have a look at some comments. They must be funny, surely. I'll take a who didn't see that coming with a side of told you so. Also, I like the Forward Unto Dawn miniseries. That would easily better. I feel like Forward Unto Dawn gets overlooked or forgotten. Okay, I haven't seen that. We should have to look it up. So basically, IP exploitation. We didn't review the games, fan fiction, novels, graphic novels, etc. We took characters and made what we wanted to make. Folks who do not understand the audience. A real shame. One thing I find strange is this bizarre obsession in military sci-fi to make the armed forces as co-ed or matriarchal as possible. It actually predates wokeness. I remember quite a few older Japanese animes. Then you start seeing in space above and beyond Starship Troopers, Battlestar Galactica, Soccermon Fleet Commanders, swimsuit model Marine officers, blah blah blah. Forgive me for my chauvinism, but if humanity ever gets to the point of having interplanetary military power, I still think dudes and robots can do the most fighting. Of course they are. Of course, women want equality and equity, but they don't want to do the hard work to actually do it. No, there's not that many funny comments actually. But yeah, anyway, we'll leave it there. Let me know what you think. Again, just goes to show that Halo is an absolute woke disaster. If you're a fan of the show, just steer clear of it. Don't give it any views. Don't give them any money. So hopefully they won't make another season and destroy it even further. Well, I don't think you can destroy it any further. Anyway, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, you're welcome. Give it a thumbs down. And if you like my content, please subscribe. Put any comments in the comments section. Click the bell notification if you want notification when my next video gets uploaded. And hopefully I will catch you in the next video.